Welcome, everybody, to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show featuring Dr. Carolyn Dean. Join Dr. Dean for the next 2 hours along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders, also known as Ginny Almighty. Join Dr. Dean as she shares with us her vast range of experience, knowledge, talent, and wisdom. Phone lines are now open, and we'll be taking your calls from around the world and here in the USA.
Welcome everyone to Dr. Carolyn Dean Live here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting humankind with universal love, or as I like to say, uniting Dr. Carolyn Dean with the whole wide world and the very good and the very best of all news, that we have what it takes to be healthy. Oh my gosh, it's so true. This is Ginny Sanders, also known as Ginny Almighty. I'll be your co-host this evening for the next 2 hours, and we're going to be hanging out with Dr. Dean and hearing that very good news. And you know what? It's incredible, but today in 2021, most of us have been convinced that we don't have what it takes. They're trying to convince us that we don't have that natural, biological, latent intelligence of the quantum amazing world that we live in, that wakes up with the incredible building blocks of nutrition and all the wonderful benefits of fresh air and good water and sunlight and all those other good things, and just lets us be naturally, effortlessly healthy. But it is true. And I'll tell you who knows it's true more than anybody is Dr. Carolyn Dean, who is the very image of what we're speaking of. And I wouldn't be able to be so absolutely pinpoint, perfectly confident in every way, every single day, and do what I do if it weren't for her living and shining example of what it is like to be alive in this body and to be able to use her own wisdom, her own discernment, and her own ability to coordinate herself with nature and to experience this extraordinary result in her own personal longevity in her life, the life of her family and her husband and all the people who are around her, who are close to her, who matter to her, including me and all of our employees, and of course now you. So it's so wonderful to have you with us tonight. So we're going to be inspired. We're going to hear great information. We're going to answer lots of questions. You're going to have a chance to talk to Dr. Dean if you are so inclined, and you're going to be able to ask questions through our chat line on YouTube as well as here at the station. And she's got a lot to say to you about how to work with the things that she knows work in order to experience the joy of being alive here this Memorial Day 2021, here with the memory of all those who've gone before us and now ourselves being here to enjoy this incredible life that we have. So I will remind everybody, this is not a medical advice show. We don't do that. We're not allowed to do that. But this is Dr. Dean saying what she would do if she were you, and she has done it. She's done it a million times over. She's done every single thing she says, and every single show she amazes me with new information that she brings forth. So like her, to be unstoppable and absolutely willing to come on here and share with you. So that's what we're going to do, is talk about all that goodness tonight. We've got our trusted producer with us, Rachel, who is sharing her good news about her experience with the formulas. Deborah, who of course runs the station with her and all of our audience on YouTube and around the world, and we're thrilled to be here. So without further ado, we shall bring on the very delightful author of the Magnesium Miracle, international bestseller, the very good, the very wonderful, and the most accomplished, incredibly accomplished doctor and naturopath, Dr. Carolyn Dean. Wait,
Yay.
Yay!
Yay, the children. Thank you, Ginny. Another wonderful introduction. Bob gave a thumbs up to that one as well. Excellent.
Aww.
Appreciate it.
Hello, Bob.
Hello, Bob. So yes, here we are on, Memorial Day. Memorial Day, Ginny. This is
I
very,
know.
it was not until on one of our trips together that your husband walked over to a soldier, and I'm gonna start crying.
Hmm.
Walked over to a soldier and said, "Thank you for your service." That I realized how important in the standing army, the military, the Air Force are to America. I mean, I've grew up in Canada, the whole socialist BS and all the rest of it. But even so, one of my nephews is in the military. He couldn't afford to go into through university if it weren't on the GI Bill or whatever they have up there. Has really amazing peripheral vision, so somehow he got into sharpshooting. Of
Mm.
course, Canada just has peacekeepers, so somehow he found his way down in the States teaching shooting to the military. And I remember, I think he said to my mom once, because we're not that keen on war and armies and killing people. And he said, well, we do the things that you will never hear about that would, yeah, something to the effect of make your hair curl. So it's like the military and all the forces that are protecting us, and they're messing up enough as well, and we just hear about how they mess up, but they're protecting us so that we won't have to deal with the dead bodies. I remember a plane crash off the coast of Nova Scotia. We weren't living there at the time, but word got back, and my nephew was part of the forces that were gathering up the body parts that had been blown up and then washed ashore. Who does that type of work? Who is there on the battlefield? I mean, who runs toward a fire or a shooting or someone screaming for help? Who runs toward that? It's these incredible people that sign up to, in the larger sense, protect the country. And I know that sounds inflated, and I could say the same about medicine. I signed up to help people. Not everybody does. For some doctors, it's just a job and they don't look beyond, you know, the fact that they're getting a paycheck. But I would like to look at the broader picture, the larger scope of why people go into service. So I just wanted to, that just came to me to say, do you have anything to add, Jenny?
Um, well, my family, I am actually a daughter of the American Revolution. My family is military all the way through.
Mm,
Um, and I'm very proud of our military and the service and what we have in this country, which is like no other. And there are a lot of criticisms and there are a lot of flaws because we are flawed people. And sometimes we make mistakes, but I know the sacrifices that have been made by my family members and even our very own Doug in customer
mm,
service served in Vietnam. I mean, people serve, they bring their hearts and they do their best. And that's what's the most important, just like with you, Carolyn. I mean, people do go into medicine for different reasons, but it's on some days we just have to try to give each other the benefit of the doubt and
mhm.
agree that we're all doing the very best that we know how to do. And so I'm very um, honored to be able to pay honor and to appreciate all the freedom that we do have.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right, right. Yes, very good. And we continue with our breakthroughs on the medical and health front. And here's something that's going to really tickle your toes, Ginny. I'm preparing for our next webinar. It's going to be on the thyroid. And a few things happened. So let me go over what I found. I saw an article in Medscape again. I get my best comedic work from Medscape, and they talked about the first drug approved for acute and preventive migraine treatment. So yeah, they're all about trying to find drugs that you can use every day, because that makes them more money. So they've got some crazy name drug, Rimegapant, the first oral drug to earn the FDA's nod for migraine prevention. Its approval as preventive therapy, along with its acute treatment indication, quote, is one of the most groundbreaking things to happen to migraine treatment in my 40 years of practicing headache medicine, said some silly doctor. So what is it? It's an oral calcitonin gene-related peptide receptor antagonist. So what stood out for me in this is that calcitonin regulates calcium. Okay, but before I go into the calcitonin and calcium business, I'll just say that the approval for this drug to be used by people with migraines every day of their lives was a study of only 370 people.
Oh my gosh.
The number of migraine days per month differed by 0.8 days between the drug and the placebo. So you get little more than half a day of migraine free by using this drug. So on top of that, 36% of these 370 people who received the drug reported an adverse event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's the state of drugs today. Okay, moving on. So looking at calcitonin, which reduces calcium levels in the blood, and this drug, plant, blocks calcitonin from doing its job. Okay, so that means it no longer reduces calcium, it allows calcium levels to increase. So what happens when calcium levels increase? They block and drop the levels of magnesium. And what's the result? Migraine headaches. So instead of giving magnesium to people, they're giving this drug. I didn't look up the cost or whatever, but more than a third of the people having side effects. I mean, what's the point? So instead of giving magnesium, they'll give this blocker drug to block calcitonin from increasing calcium levels and who knows what else. Okay, but here's the main point. I mean, that's pretty major. The fact that they'll use a drug, this calcitonin agonist or antagonist instead of magnesium. The fact that they'll use a drug on a daily basis instead of doctors studying nutrients and learning about them. I mean, it's almost like the big pharma decided, okay, well, let's just overwhelm university education with all our drugs and all that information and make that the most important thing so they won't look at nutrients. And that's what happened. That's why these doctors are silly. So where's calcitonin produced, Ginny? In the thyroid.
Oh,
what happens
no
to calcitonin
way.
in hypothyroidism, Ginny? Its
Wow.
production is reduced.
Wow.
So this reduction in calcitonin could explain rising levels of calcium, which they do find, and explain why some people with hypothyroidism have persistent symptoms despite adequate treatment with thyroid hormones. And the symptoms that don't 100% improve or necessarily improve include fatigue, which is low magnesium, muscle pain, which is low magnesium, weight gain, which can be low magnesium, and mood changes, which can be low magnesium. But the levels of calcitonin are not tested in hypothyroidism because the exact role of calcitonin in human health and disease is not fully known, so they ignore it. And even though calcitonin, I mean, they know enough to know that it's important in bone and mineral homeostasis, and particularly in its ability to regulate calcium metabolism. And then they're starting to look, as they are with this new migraine drug, at the whole business of calcitonin alleviating pain in patients with bone or mineral disorders. To date, the use of calcitonin for relief of hypothyroid symptoms has not been studied. So, why wait for another 10, 15 years for them to study it and figure it out? Just take ReMag to help balance your calcium levels in the body as you heal your thyroid with the right building blocks of our Completement Formulas. And then the thyroid will get back to making its own hormone and its own calcitonin. So what do you think of that breakthrough there, Ginny?
Wow, that's really amazing. Wow.
She's coming.
Yep. Oh, can you not hear me?
Doubt.
No, I'm here. Can she not hear me?
I know.
Here I am. I am here.
She's just muted. Maybe the dogs are barking.
No.
Maybe that's what's happening.
I can hear you.
Okay.
But in case something else happened, I'll check my messages. No, nothing.
Okay. Can
Bob,
you?
am I on?
Yes.
Bob, am I on the show?
Yeah. Check your.
Bob's up putting away the laundry.
Check your volume.
Okay, someone tell me if I'm on.
Yep.
Yes, I could go to the chat.
You're on.
Oh, there it is. I've got to check my volume, as often happens. Okay, I'm back.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yay!
Golly. Okay. Yay. So what do you think of that?
You didn't hear me.
Breakthrough.
Yes, you didn't hear me snorting and hoarding the whole time you were telling me all that stuff. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is produced in the thyroid. And great work. Yeah. So it's just taking a few bits of information. Migraine drug. I know, Bobby. Bob's on delay because he's listening to the show. Me looking at this migraine drug, it's got to do with calcium. Okay. As soon as you talk about calcium, you have to talk about magnesium, and on it goes. And, it's because doctors don't know anything, haven't learned word one about nutrients, that they're not able to make these connections. So, and they're never going to be able to make these connections because they'll never be able to catch up with what should have been in their basic education. We're doomed. I mean, in that sense, waiting for doctors to help us. And I don't know, I was going to bring it up at a later time, but, they're talking about all these health apps that are on the go. I mean, there's some article I read said that there are 100,000 health apps, which I can't even imagine. So on your phone, you're going to be able to, I don't know, take your blood pressure, do blood. I don't know what's going to happen, but where it'll all lead. Everybody thinks, oh, this is wonderful. I started getting, really concerned when I heard about the AFib app, where you can, I don't know, dial your phone into your heart rhythm and find out if it's irregular. And that and every other health app is going to lead to more drugs. That's all. That's what it's going to do. More tests. It's like, oh, you may have this, so let's do a bunch of invasive tests, and they may kill you, but we'll still find out, and you become a statistic. So all these health apps are going to do is make you more scared about your health. I mean, look how controlled we've been about this COVID.
when we know we can take care of our own health, thank you very much. And we can't say much more than that, or the FDA will get after us. So yes, be very concerned about all these health apps, and do all you can to take responsibility for your own health, and take your nutrients that are going to help at the cellular level.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that is my first rant. And then we get to today's topic and blog. Adapt, adopt, and thrive in the new environment. And actually, that's part of the new environment, isn't it? All the tech body apps that are geared to help you, but just like anything to do with computers and the manipulation by the tech body, it's garbage in, garbage out.
Mm.
If all they do is put in the garbage about this drug, that drug, and put all your symptoms in some sort of machine and and relate it to a drug result without realizing that, I mean, look at the way I've talked about magnesium deficiency. 65 different health conditions or disease conditions are related to magnesium deficiency. And if they don't have magnesium in their little machine when they diagnose you, then you're out of luck.
Mm.
You're very much out of luck. And then you're scared into taking a drug or this or that. Even when they talk about genetics, oh, you have a family history of this. You also have a family history of vitamin and mineral deficiencies that turn your genes on and off. So yeah, we really have to be on top of our own health and be in control, be in our own power about who's more important in deciding what's good for you, the doctor or the FDA or you. I'd say it's you.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Right
So
on.
the blog topic that Ginny wanted to look at today: adapt, adopt, and thrive in the new environment. And she put in how from our first product, the RnA ReSet Drops, that, I mean, that's sort of a very elusive life force remedy that we can't. I have a hard time talking about it. That's why I did the radish experiment and found out the RnA ReSet Drops help the radishes grow. They repel the predators, and realizing that when you have a strong life force, your body doesn't have to get infected or get sick. And what we realized right in the beginning, and because I've been working with, let's say, highly sensitive patients my whole life,
Mm.
I could see from people with the RnA ReSet Drops that one drop could start creating some sort of frequency in the body that affected them. That's why our RnA ReSet Drops will say start with one drop and take one drop a day for a week before you increase to 2 drops. And some people think that's ridiculous, but it is not. We have had highly sensitive people react, and it makes me think, Ginny, of a patient I had in Toronto. She said if she put nylons on, she would faint.
Oh, wow.
Now, what's going on there? The static that you
Mm.
get from your dryer, you pull things out, you get static. Well, that's kind of an electric effect,
Wow.
and that can affect a person. I remember when I was doing this book tour across Canada in the winter. I was in a hotel, and it was dry, 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 and I played with my sheets for I don't know how long, because I would scruffle my feet inside the covers, and scruffle them along these dry sheets, and they would there was this static effect. They would actually be charged. I was creating lightning with my sheets, and from the static effect, the dryness, and the fact that there's electricity in the air and in just about everything. So, what's happening in our world is we're more electromagnetic. We've got more riding through the atmosphere. The way wireless works is it's picking up radio frequency waves, wireless waves in the air. We cannot see them, but when you have a wireless of any kind, and including your cell phone, I put my phone on airplane mode when I'm not using it, but I don't know if that does anything because the waves are in the air. And what we have to do about that is just strengthen our body. But I'll get to that. So in the blog, which you can see the blog at drcarolyndeanlive.com. It's at the top of the page there. What I say next in my Completement Now series, I talk about how the electromagnetic fields produced by electrical devices affect human physiology and what steps can be taken to protect our cells and our mitochondria from the big tech effect. And what that's referring to is the EMFs affecting the voltage gate calcium channels in our cells. There's a doctor who's written about this. I talk about him in my Magnesium Miracle book, 2017 edition. So this doctor says that this voltage gate calcium channel being affected causes too much calcium to enter the cell. So that means that there's not enough magnesium to pull that calcium out. And then the cells just get hyperactive with all that calcium. So I don't know. I mean, that's not the whole effect of EMFs, but magnesium is certainly the treatment for the increased calcium in our cells. So continuing, radiation from EMFs is just one of the many challenges we face in 2021. Soil depletion, poor water and air quality, processed foods, and even a global pandemic have convinced us all that we must adapt and adopt in order to thrive in our bodies and minds. Over the years, as I have continued to develop my Completement Formulas, each edition works together synergistically to support our bodies in this new environment. And, we wrote in the blog that almost like I consciously did that. A lot of it wasn't even conscious. It just happens that all our formulas work together synergistically. And we hear this all the time from our customers. They'll be on, they'll say, oh, I'm on a different vitamin D or a different omega or a different C or whatever. And we just say, well, why don't you just, when you finish that bottle, just switch to ours and tell us what you notice. And invariably people will say they feel much better on our Completement Formulas. And I think it's because they all work together. In most of our capsules and our Restructure powder, we have RnA ReSet powder. We've dried out our RnA drops into powder form and then put them in several of our formulas. So you're getting that life force entity. The RnA drops are very expensive to produce, and so it makes them an expensive product. We wish everybody would take them. Not enough people are taking them, but you are at least getting some of that effect with the small amounts of RnA ReSet powder in our capsules. Okay, so we go on to say, naysayers challenge the relevance of supplementation protocols in these challenging times. as I said at the outset, doctors don't know a thing about nutrients. They poo-poo them, they put them down. And as I say here in the blog, allopathic medicine has worked overtime to deny their importance because they don't know about them. It's like they don't want to be seen to be ignorant, so they just put it down. Unfortunately, not all supplements are created equal. I've seen far too many people who are taking supplements because they are afraid to not take them. So they've been bullied by advertising. Oh, you have to take this, that, and the other thing, but they're not well absorbed. They're not, you know, synergistic nutrients. So they're just taking the word of the advertisers and not getting the effect. And people have the same attitude toward drugs. Doctors tell patients that their cholesterol will kill them if they don't take statins. Now, that's not true. And alternative medicine doctors often do the same with supplements. Or the ad copy you read about supplements makes you feel less than if you don't take every new product that comes along. And then what should happen is that when you take something, you feel better. That's what happens with the Total Body Reset formulas. You feel better and you want to keep feeling better. In my blog, When Magnesium Makes You Better, I list all the reasons that you can expect to feel better when you start adding this vital nutrient to your regimen. But it's not just limited to ReMag. It's true of all our formulas. As one of our radio show listeners, Joan, says, she's one of our over 80 club customers from Ontario, Canada. And she shares this comment. So Joan says, I can attest that after a period, if you take the entire Completement Formula protocol, you are covered in mind, body, and spirit. The problems of the world are still there, of course, but your inner self develops a Teflon-like endurance, no longer fretting over the me, oh my, but truly from the inner depth of one's being, the ability to relax and allow happens without effort. The drama of life continues. That is why we are here to be part of it. But instead of it consuming us, we can allow it to dance around us and become the observer at the same time as being able to play safely. Much appreciation to the Dr. Dean Dream Team, the very best that your universe has to offer. That's so adorable. And when Joan says relax and allow, that's what we say the definition of RnA is. Capital R, small n, capital A, relax and allow. So that's perfection. So there we go, talking about the new environment, how we've factored that into our work and a support for people and those that are sensitive to the world, to the environment. We just say, well, our building blocks are there to support anybody at any level of illness or wellness. And that's why we always say, take it slow and start low. And I mean, that would be the advice for everybody. I do have some questions that Melody Rose scared up for us, Ginny, but if you want to interject your comments now and go to the chat or radio for a while and come back to these questions, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to say that first, there's a couple things that I don't, when I think about you and your own personal lifestyle, I remember the first time we traveled together in 2013, you had rearranged your hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
And you had blocked the waves coming off the television.
Mm-hmm.
And, those kinds of things. I know that you don't use a microwave in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Bob, your husband has been very keen and aware of the effects of electricity and how that shaped our society and now technology for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, we've talked before about grounding, using copper bracelets. I know some people sleep on magnetic pads. I mean, to have these non-native EMFs running around, it's gotten to the point of pretty urgent, I think. And even you know, mentioning just that you keep your phone on what do you call it?
Airplane.
Airplane mode. Now, one of the things that I've done for the employees is we have a reimbursement plan at work where anybody who's working on a computer screen can have the OcuShield, which is a blue light barrier for the light that's given off by your phone, and the computers that everybody works, they can receive reimbursement for their devices that they have to use that are work related. And a lot of our employees do. And, you know, Houston and Austin and those guys have worn blue blocking glasses for a long time because they play on those big computer screens. And it really does a lot of damage, I guess, to your eyes, your retina, your omegas. That's really important to protect all that. So I know that you've been really at this for a long time, and maybe, you know, some of the advantages that you've, or the things that you've done for all these years have really given you an incredible amount of protection.
Right. Yes. I even forgot, like, the whatever the reading glasses I use, they have a blue shield on them. And I don't even think about it anymore. The things that you know, kind of incorporate, and you don't know if they're going to work, but it just makes sense sometimes to use these things. I know the questions that we got today, you know, some people are saying, how do I protect myself and what do I do? And there are all kinds of things that are bandied about, and I don't know what's the best, what are the best things. But yes, I get the blue shield. You can get glasses, or are you saying with the screens on the computer, it's an actual film that goes across the screen of the computer?
Yes, and the handheld phones.
Mm-hmm.
It's called OcuShield. I'm not endorsing that company. It's just what we've offered because it was created by optometrists and they did a lot of research on it. So I'm not saying it's the best or anything. Don't put me in that. I'm just saying this particular company, it'll size every screen, big monitors, your handheld devices and everything, and your laptop screens. And you do put a film over it and it blocks that blue light, you know, from coming in, type of a thing. Yeah.
Right. And copper, you mentioned copper. It's a metal that people have been using supposedly for arthritic pain for years, and we've been told that copper is grounding. And you know, maybe there's something to that as well. I don't know that there's scientific research on these modalities, but I think we're at the point, and certainly our customers know that when they take something, they have to observe and see if you feel better. And so maybe if you hear something we're saying today, you could assess whether or not you feel better if your phone is on airplane mode, if you turn off all the electricity in your bedroom when you sleep. And actually, Jenny, I know in my whatever 200 Completement Now modules, I had a whole section on the electric environment. Do we have that available for people?
Yes, yes, they can email into customer service and we'll send them those modules. Yes, but one of them is about sleeping in an electric environment and how to kind of make your room more foolproof. And then the other one was about, like you said, turning off the electricity at the fuse box, if it's possible, or you can you know, do all kinds of little hacks to your environment to make sure that you're minimizing, you know, as much as you can, because I think we're all pretty much being microwaved in a slow kind of situation, right?
Right. And that's where we come to the title, adapt and adopt. To me, it used to be adapt, adopt, and survive. But now, yes, it is to thrive because humans have always adapted. And the faster we can adapt, the better. And what we're saying is if your cells are healthy and vibrant and plastic, that's not a negative word, but just malleable, able to bob and weave, then you can adapt. And that's what our formulas allow you to do. So I mean that's the bottom line. Adapt with your healthy body.
Yep, absolutely. And be aware. I mean, I think that, that the first time that was at that Health Freedom Conference in 2013 that I met you in San Diego. And I saw that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I mean, I didn't think like, and I should do that. But now I think I should do that. And actually, we do that now, and a lot of people can't even imagine not having a television in their bedroom at night. But that's one of the worst things you could possibly do, probably, right?
Well, both for the content and just the signal coming into the TV. But I don't know. It's so much of it is a mental game too.
Mm,
We have questions from people about 5G, should I worry about 5G? It's like, well, it's here. Just, be strong, get out in nature, exercise, and, look at things in a positive way. How will this help me rather than how will it hurt me?
mm-hmm,
Because we can bring on so much negativity. A person can be hypnotized,
mm,
and the hypnotist can say, I am putting a burning coin in your hand,
mm,
red hot coin in your hand. And they'll just put a quarter in your hand, room temperature. But your palm will form a blister.
mm,
So our minds are so susceptible. And, that's where, probably in one of my modules, I tell people to turn off the news. Don't get the newspaper. Stop reading all the headlines, because there's nothing really one person can do to change the hugeness of the complexity and chaos. All you can do is change your attitude towards it.
mm,
But by changing your attitude and, putting forth a smiling, happy face, which, you get up in the morning, do I want to be happy or do I want to be sad? Oh, I'd rather be happy. And that's sometimes that's all it takes. Now, I'm not saying that someone who has, some sort of depression that can be caused by nutrient imbalances or a depression caused by some horrible grief. Those things do exist. But even there, if you saturate with magnesium, you can lift yourself out of these situations. And that's what we're saying. Our environment is continually changing. So just eh, get used to that fact and just sort of flow with it. Don't The more you fight it, the more it can react negatively. It's like my saying, if you are taking a poison and thinking the other person is going to die,
mm,
uh, that that's you poisoning yourself with just feeling angry and resentful and frustrated and pissed off, and then you're putting all those negative chemicals in your own body. So it's hard 'cause I'm just saying words, but we go beyond words. I used to say words to my patients. Of course, I'd give them natural prescriptions too, but over the years since I've been out of a physical practice, it was just words to people.
mm,
And it wasn't until about 2008 people started saying, when the economy crashed again, they said, I'm too busy for words, just tell me exactly what to do and take. And then a few years later, I was making products because I realized people just wanted to take something that works. And that's what we're doing.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, and the best defense is a good offense, and the products are definitely very offensive as far as being an offense. Yes. So but I do admire again, just the lifestyle, and like you said, it's kind of you don't really think about, but all those little incremental things can add up, and so I think that's once again something that people can really hearken to you to know. When you look at some of these different people that you see on the internet and stuff, maybe you're not sure how authentic and true they are to their own mission and their own purpose. But I can definitely vouch for Dr. Dean. She has definitely shown me over the years that she really, really walks her talk with this kind of stuff. And all these incremental things do make a difference for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's everybody saying on the chitty chatty line? Of course, everybody wants to know about RnA lotion. I guess we'll have to talk about that today, Carolyn, and talk about what we're going to do for our wonderful radio audience about our RnA lotion. And New Earth Television is saying, I remember years back how folks added iron and steel to their home to shield them from magnetic fields in the air and the appliances. And yeah, that was a common thing that people did. And also grounding and that kind of thing. Very good. Very good. Okay, what would you like to talk about now, Carolyn?
Well, you mentioned RnA lotion, Ginny, so I think we're going to have to talk about it.
Okay. What should we say?
Well, we have to say that RnA lotion has been the albatross around both our necks and our feet and our hands. It's just incredible. So the latest run of RnA lotion looked good. It looked great. It felt great in the smaller batches. And then when it got to the bigger batches, it became a little more sticky. It didn't seem to absorb as well as it had in a batch, a couple of years ago. That was the best. But anyway, something changed, and then we've gotten to the point where we've got thousands and thousands of bottles of something that we're not happy with. But we know it has RnA liquid in it. We know it works. What we wanted to do, because it's like a 50-50. Some people say, oh, it's great, it's fine. And other people like myself say, no, it's not perfect. So Ginny, what are we going to do to kind of study this latest batch?
Okay, so what we're going to do is for anybody listening on the radio show tonight or throughout the week until we run out, we are going to offer you a half price jar of the RnA lotion. So instead of paying $30, we're only going to ask you to pay $15. It is perfectly viable. You can use it on your skin and your body. And what we want you to do is give us feedback, because we really need to know. One of the things is that we want to know if you feel that it's sticky. We want to know what you think about the jar, and we want to know if you feel that it's too strong, because we did make it strong. And on the one hand, I mean, it'll knock it out, whatever's bothering you. Like I used it on my hip and it was incredible. On the other hand, some people are saying that it might be a little too strong and maybe it might sting. We've never had a sting, a stain, a problem, or a sticky issue with the RnA lotion, and we don't want to start now. So we're sending out a couple hundred bottles in a consumer panel, and we're asking, not a couple hundred bottles per person, but we just asked them to send us a couple hundred bottles of what they made. We're not taking the rest, but we're going to ask you guys to help us get that feedback. If you want to participate, all you have to do is send an email to support, SUPPORT at RnAReSet.com, and just put in the subject line RnA lotion panel, And that's all you have to do. And we will get the process, we'll get it going. We'll send you an invoice. You can pay for it online. Boom, we'll ship it out to you. And then you've got up to 30 days to give us that feedback. So we're going to organize the whole thing, but we just want to know if you want to participate. So I think a lot of our radio audience does want to participate because you guys have asked us about it on a regular basis. Now, I personally, in our customer service in our warehouse team, it was split right down the middle. 50% of the people loved it and 50% thought it was too sticky, that it didn't fully absorb. So it's really a dead heat. That's why we want to ask you guys. And also the container, it's in a jar now. Patrick's like, sign me up. But it's in a jar where you have to use your fingers and stuff. So we just want to get all your feedback. So again, you guys have been really patient. We want to give you a chance. Just $15, 50% off. Shoot us an email to support at RnA ReSet. Just put in the subject line Remag panel. We'll get it taken care of and we'll get some out to you, and then we can start our process of checking it out. So that's what we're going to do.
Right. And what I did about the stickiness, and I did have the tingling with it, especially on my neck and upper shoulders. I just left it on for half an hour and then I washed it off. And that was that. And that's what I used to recommend when people used, gosh, what was it? They call it magnesium oil. And what that was, it wasn't an oil, but it was super saturated magnesium chloride in distilled water. And it was very concentrated. It wasn't Remag, it wasn't that well absorbed, and it would irritate the skin. As far as I saw from this new Remag lotion, it's not irritating, it's just tingly. Someone said it was tingly, but then that went away. So you can put it on after a half hour. What's going to be absorbed has been absorbed, and then you can just rinse it off. Just a wet cloth and just take it off. Or if you did a total body wipe down, then take a shower and don't rub it in. Don't abrade your skin with it. Just sort of pat it on your skin gently.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Okay. So that's where we're at, everybody. Just shoot us your email. So Elma, yes, that includes you. So just go ahead and shoot us the email, and then we will get started on our process of getting this out.
So how many are we going to send to people on the, how many are they allowed to buy? Because I remember with our...
Oh, 2. Yeah. They can get 2. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good.
So Patrick, you can have 2.
That's right. That's right. Yes, you can. 2 times. Yes. And then we're going to go from there. So the next version will take a little bit to get out, but we're going to get it right because we don't want to have to go back down this path. And I'm sure.
And the next version is in process. I mean, we've had 3 different companies, chemists or whatever, working on it. And we'll get the best one. I mean, it's because Remag is so concentrated and so wonderful that it doesn't mix well. It doesn't play well with others. So it's a very delicate operation where, we have to have someone right there minute by minute, because there's a water phase of the lotion, which is the magnesium chloride, Remag solution, that's water phase. And there's an oil phase. Because that's what makes lotions. And, from my work in the lab in New York, I used to make lotions and creams with the various Chinese herbs that we used in our AIDS and chronic fatigue study. I made lotions, so I know all about, creating an oil phase and creating a water phase in separate containers. And then you have to sort of dribble one and then the other in your mixing. And if you get too much of one or too much of another, you can just go into precipitation, or it just gets all oily and gummy. It's a very delicate procedure, made worse because ReMag is so concentrated. So there.
Yay! So yes, so we're going to get everybody there. So, but thank you, radio audience. You guys have been great, and you guys, we rely on you for so much information and feedback and participation. So you are the very first to be able to get your hands on it, and then we'll go from there. So thank you again, you guys. Just announcing, we've got 5 minutes to the top of the hour, and then we're going to have to take our break. But anyone who wants to talk to Dr. Dean tonight, you really would want to call in this evening. 646-558-8657 is the number. And then you've got your ID 8836953587. It's on the screen at YouTube. It's on the radio station. It's in our emails. I know that number's a little long and awkward, but we're figuring it out. So anyway, 646-558-8657. And then enter in the ID. And then when you get here, you got to hit *9 on the keypad to let me know you have a question or a comment. And then we'll put you in with Dr. Dean right at the top of the hour. And so far, I've got lots of callers and no *9 little blue hands. So be sure to hit that if you want to talk to Dr. Dean. Otherwise, your phone remains on mute and you won't have an opportunity to speak with her, which is heartbreaking, I personally find. I mean, I think everyone should talk to Dr. Dean at least once in their lifetime, and maybe 2 or 3 times at least.
Oh, okay. We have 1 minute. Let me give this quick sidebar rant. Drinking alcohol increases the likelihood of an episode of atrial fibrillation. It can occur within a few hours. The more alcohol consumed, the higher the risk. 1 drink equals a 2-fold increase in the next 4 hours. 2 or more drinks linked to more of a 3-fold increase. So that's quite amazing. Now, I think that those symptoms can be worse because of magnesium deficiency. They say the symptoms go along with the symptoms of the AFib increasing after alcohol, goes along with sleep apnea, a sympathetic surge, and hypoxia. So all magnesium deficiency symptoms, and what we tell people is to take our Realign to help metabolize their alcohol so that it doesn't cause these effects. So there you go, Ginny.
Absolutely. Yes, that's very good. And that is in one of your triggers in your heart health book. And alcohol is a big trigger for people, even red wine. I know people think it's got a health benefit, but not when you're in that situation. So,
right. And that could be why, Ginny, some studies say alcohol is good, some say it's not good. Well, they're not testing who has magnesium. Maybe people who have magnesium, they're able to metabolize their alcohol in a more positive way. Interesting.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree completely. Yay! All right, you guys, we're going to be back. Get your calls ready and get girded up for hour 2. Always the best hour, as Scott says. All right, we'll be right back.
Hour 2 of the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with host Ginny Sanders, right after this brief station break. You can also get updates updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com. That's drcarolyndean.com.
Did you know there are 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency? Magnesium deficiency is a public health crisis growing in scope and proportion. Dr. Carolyn Dean, author of The Magnesium Miracle, has identified over 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency, 100 factors that lead to magnesium deficiency, and 24 reasons why magnesium deficiency occurs. Order The Magnesium Miracle today at Amazon.com and learn how to remedy this pervasive condition.
Do you have questions about your health? Are you wondering about alternatives? Do you ever wish you could have 5 minutes with a doctor you can trust? Someone who is an internationally recognized authority in the field of natural medicine? Meet award-winning doctor, naturopath, and best-selling author of The Magnesium Miracle, Carolyn Dean, MD, ND. Hear a wealth of information designed to empower listeners and callers to discover how to improve health, vitality, and well-being through a variety of safe strategies and nutritional options. Dr. Carolyn Dean Live. Shows can be heard every Monday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern, with weekly live shows, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Natural health, vitality, and well-being. Yes, everyone wants it, but not everyone is sure how to achieve it. Dr. Carolyn Dean's Completement Formulas are more than just dietary supplements. They're whole foods and picometer minerals designed to complete your nutrition, not just supplement it. Experience the difference Dr. Dean's formulas make. Visit RnAReSet.com to learn more. That's RnAReSet.com.
Omega Institute, offering workshops, retreats, and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. With more than 40 years at the forefront of holistic studies, Omega is known the world over as a trusted source for integrated approaches to personal growth and social change. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 877-944-2002. Again, 877-944-2002.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Return now to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders. Phone lines are open during live broadcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, live with Dr. Carolyn D here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. As it says in the promo on the break, the shows that are created from the heart. And yes, I do believe that completely and totally, that Dr. Dean puts her heart into this show and just brings all of herself here. And that's what makes it so special. We're so thankful for her and all her wonderful work. And so we're going to be giving you a chance to talk with her in this hour if you'd like to. You've got the number on your screen or here at your on our, what do you call it, YouTube, 646-558-8657, and then the ID number, which I won't read out again. But so feel free to call in. Now, as I said, I've got a lot of callers on here, but no *9. So I need the *9 on the keypad to show me that you want to talk to Dr. Dean, and then I'll put you on the call. Again, *9. Very good. So there go the hands. Very good. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, very good. All right, so we'll be right with you in just a second. And let's just ask this top of the hour question, Carolyn, from Patrick, who said, is there any difference between vitamin D K2 liquid and capsule form? Is the absorption better in capsules, or is it the same? Because I've noticed supplements where there's 5,000 IUs and 10,000 K2s in one drop. I wonder if the body would absorb it better.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I know what you're saying, though. I think it's been the emulsified Ds that one drop equals some high amount. And I even think it's a D3. No, I don't know what that's about. I haven't thought of that, so I don't have an answer. I don't know if it's a Googleable answer or not. But whatever we did is the best. That's what we'll say, right?
That's right. Well, we've got the catalyst of the RnA ReSet powder in the D3K2. That's the one thing that we do with our powders. So if we're able to do that, is to put that catalyst in there. And that is really going to help support the absorption. So I think that's probably our answer. But Patrick, you can do the experiment if you'd like and let us know. It's just following that registering that D3 level. But I think you're doing the grassroots health, so you would probably be in a good position to be able to notice that.
Very good.
All righty. All right, everybody. Hour 2, and let's take some phone calls again. If you're on the line, *9 to raise your hand, and then we'll put you on the line. But we're going to go first to area code 806. So hit *6 on your phone, 806, area code 806. You'll unmute your phone. There you go. Welcome to the show. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi, this is Gwen from Lubbock, Texas, and wanted to first of all compliment Jenny and Dr. Dean about all the wonderful products. My question is twofold. Is there a sequence to taking your supplements? I had the vitamin C, and I put the potassium and the ReMag and ReMite in that, and then do the zinc separately. So is there a sequence to that? And my second question is, if you're going to spray on the magnesium for muscles that are cramping, do you need to just do that once a day, or can you do that multiple times a day?
Okay, very good, Gwen. The sequence is really with those minerals in your vitamin C powder. You're sipping it through the day, and there's no sequence. You're just sipping it through the day. And the zinc, I did say on the labeling to take it separately in case people reacted with some nausea. But if you've been taking it zinc for a while and haven't had any problems with it, then I have gone ahead and put it right in with my other minerals.
Okay, right now I do the zinc separately in a cup of water, and then the other that I sip all day is the potassium, ReMite, and ReMag. And is the ratio of ReMag to ReMite 2-to-1?
Yes, that's right. And potassium is either the same amount as ReMag, or people are taking either 1 or 2 teaspoons of the potassium. I think Jenny takes 2. I take 1.
Okay, so potassium can be a 1-to-1 ratio with the ReMag.
Correct. And that would, Gwen, be more for people with heart problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since I don't have that, you could basically do a 2-to-1 with your potassium, just like your 2-to-1 with the ReMite, correct?
Correct. And as for spraying on the ReMag, I tell people to spray it on several times. And, you can spray it on, let it dry, 15, 20 minutes later, spray it on again if you're dealing with some sort of either acute or chronic pain. So you can
Okay,
spray it
well,
on several times.
Okay, well, I walk my 3 poodles, standard poodles, every morning, and maybe I've overdone it, so my calves have been cramping. So with the spray-on Remag, I can layer that with about 30 minutes in between or an hour in between.
30 minutes.
Okay. Great.
Okay.
And thank you for your insights and your excellence and your scientific knowledge. It's very, very helpful.
Oh, thank you, Gwen, and thanks for your questions. I appreciate it. You take care now.
You bet. Thank you, dear.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Gwen. Excellent information coming through. All right. Again, if you 646-558-8657, hit *9 on your keypad to talk to Dr. Dean tonight. And if not, Carolyn, we'll just press on with our important topics.
Okay, well, we'll get back to the questions that kind of go with the blog today, Jenny.
Okay.
So who is this? Lanny is saying, I have AFib and it was going away, and it is going away now that I'm on Remag and Remite. Now, she should be taking potassium. So, Lanny, if you're listening, add the potassium. Everybody, if you're taking Remag and Remite, add your potassium, because we're finding out more and more that it really helps the magnesium work more efficiently. A lot of people with a little lingering symptoms that we thought were magnesium deficiency, it can be potassium deficiency, because we're just not getting the potassium in our diet like we used to. So she says her AFib is going away as long as she avoids all the triggers that she knows about. And then she said, I listened to a talk by Dr. Martin Paul, I guess it is. And he's the doctor I quote in my book, talking about how EMFs cause health problems. And he's the one that said that EMFs affect the voltage gate calcium channels in our cells, and that too much calcium enters into the cells because of this problem with the EMFs. And Alana goes on to say, I believe Dr. Dean's book stated that too much calcium binds to magnesium, makes it unavailable. That's one way of putting it. They certainly antagonize one another. And she said, so if this is the case, this would mean that too much exposure to EMFs would be yet another trigger for my AFib. And she asked if we've looked into this. And yes, as I written about it in the book, the EMFs saying that magnesium should be protective against EMFs. So that's, and it should be, don't know if it will ever be studied. You can study it for yourself by taking the extra Remag and seeing if EMFs are less problematic. If you know you're experiencing EMF problems, I think a lot of EMF information is kind of scaring people, so they're reacting out of fear and not necessarily a physical reaction. And again, listening to our video on powerful EMF protection. I didn't know that we had one, but maybe we did. This helped me to understand the RnA ReSet Drops better. But if you would like to explain more about RnA ReSet, I'd appreciate it. Also, heard Dr. Dean talk about wearing a copper bracelet. What does a bracelet do? Is there any connection to EMF protection with copper and magnetic bracelets? So we answered some of this. RnA ReSet Drops have a kind of a life force a component to help our bodies. Kind of the electromagnetic frequency of the body will be supported by something like the RnA ReSet Drops and not fall prey to like counterproductive frequencies of EMF and wireless. That's what we're banking on. So I think I'll leave it at that. Someone's asking about smart meters. Just listened to a September show with Dr. Sinatra, my friend Dr. Sinatra, who called me the doctor of the future. And she said, or no, Michael says, toward the end, a woman called in asking about the smart meters and sleeping issues she was having. What would you suggest in that situation? Now, smart meters, they're another wireless, radio frequency, microwave systems similar to cell phones. So, it's just more of these waves going through the atmosphere that our bodies have, that are bumping up against our bodies. And what I'm saying is, if our cells are healthy, our frequency is balanced, if our cell membranes are healthy, they won't be subject to what is Dr. Powell saying? They won't be subject to this voltage gate calcium channel effect. The channels in our cells won't be subject to other frequencies, to imbalance of too much calcium. And the way you keep your cell membranes intact and healthy is with the proper fat ratios. So that's our omega-3 algae A plus E. Those are all the fat-soluble vitamins there, and the fat-soluble vitamin D and K2. So those are all going to be supporting healthy cell membranes. The next question about EMFs and improving home environment technology. Who says, Claire's asking, how can I learn more about the EMF counteracting machines? Now, I don't know about any EMF counteracting machines. I think it's almost like the tech body is affecting us. That's one machine. So do we use another machine to counteract it, or do we support strengthening our body and our cells? I go for strengthening our body and our cells. I think that's something we can depend on. And Claire would be someone who would probably appreciate getting my modules on protecting your home environment. So that's at support at RnAReSet.com. Ask for the modules on EMFs, and I don't know I forget what I called them. Maybe Ginny can look up what I called that section. What exactly do people ask for? And while she's looking that up, I'll finish the last two questions. Clint says, my wife is hurt from radiation from a nearby cell tower. Will the magnesium miracle, I think he means, will remake help to keep her from hurting so bad? What is he so bad? Badly from tower field radiation. Yes, some people are very sensitive. When I lived on City Island in New York, they put up a cell tower on the top of an apartment building right across from a school. And a lot of people were really quite upset about it. And some people said that they were suffering. And again, we shouldn't have such, strong fields, microwave field emissions right next to our homes. So we always have to, protect against that, to complain, petition, do all you can to get them out of your close environment, at the same time supporting your own cells. And then the 5G controversy. Rose says, many think it's quite damaging. What kind of protection can we use so that we aren't injured when 5G gets turned on in our local area? Again, protect your cells. I know. I don't know, like 5G apparently is just going to come out of the existing towers. I suppose if I lived near a tower, I'd complain or move. I don't know. People just don't have that option. Most people who are in enclosed environments, so can't really give cures in these cases, except to say that protect your body, protect your cells, and we should be able to adapt and adopt, and thrive. I really do think that. So, Jenny, what do people ask for when they're calling up for the whatever microwave EMF information? What
Okay,
did I have? How did I list it?
okay, I'm going to, can you hear me? Let's see, I might still
Yep.
be. Okay, very good. Okay, so I'm going to send it to customer service so they know what ones to put together. But the way that they are listed in your your Completement Now modules is under living space. And so that's pillar 5. And so it would be sleeping without electricity, reducing wireless worries, taming the TV, and earthing and grounding. Those are the 4 that they'll be able to receive. And I'll send Lisa an email so she'll know to put those together and have that group go out as a response.
Wonderful. Okay. See, we have everything.
See, Dr. Dean knows everything. That's what I love. I don't have to worry about anything. All I have to do is ask Dr. Dean. Okay, speaking of that, we have callers waiting, so we shall go to the phones. Again, 646-558-8657. Be sure to hit *9 if you're here to talk to Dr. Dean this evening. She'd love to talk to you as well. Okay, we're going to area code 808. Area code 808, if you would unmute your phone using *6. And then we'll put you on the line with Dr. Dean. Area code, there you go. Welcome to the show. Please give us your name and then your question or comment.
Hey there, it's longtime users Lisa and Christina calling in.
Hello, Lisa and Christy. Where are you at an 808 area code?
I was going to say, are you guys there? Are they there?
They're there. They're there.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
We finally have a phone.
Yeah, they finally have a phone that works, right? In Panama, they weren't able to call. So I said, look, if you want to get on the show, you just have to come up here. So they did.
We flew up here specifically to get on the show. Exactly.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's so great to be here, and it's so great to be back on the show. My gosh, it was my life for so many years, and then we moved, and now I can't get on at all. But I have to call and give a testimony because it's great. It's great you're talking about all these things that we've experienced, and potassium, which is a new product, and we've been on your product since you launched. What is it, like 15 years now, I think? And
not quite, but
yeah. How many years old are you now? Because I know we were one of your first customers.
Jenny, what do you think? Is it 12 years? 8?
Yes, it is. Yep.
12 years. Yeah.
12 years. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we're constant. It's just part of our lives, and we wouldn't know what to do without them. And we're just so grateful that your products are there. And then it's funny, every time you come up with something new, I'm like, do I really need that? Do I really need that? But I remember before you launched the potassium, that every now and then I would get these horrible muscle tightness and pain. And I could barely touch my knees. I was in so much pain, or even just lying, you would just have this throbbing pain going through it. And it didn't matter how much of your magnesium I took, nothing would help. And then sure enough, we get your potassium, and lo and behold, I don't know. I just don't get those cramps anymore, or the tightening in the muscles anymore. And then Christy used to get these muscle cramps at night. And sure enough, she used to just get up and go take magnesium. Now she gets up and goes and takes a dose of the potassium, and it goes right away. So I just had to call and say how amazing that product is. And how, because I keep hearing people talking about cramping, and I always thought it was magnesium too, until the potassium really did amazing stuff. And there was a woman right before we left in Panama who said, Lisa, I am having these horrible, horrible cramps, and I can't get rid of them. It's horrible. And I said to her, well, I know you already got the magnesium. I'm going to give you a bottle of the potassium. Test this out. And literally the next day she said, oh my God, it's gone. And then right before we left, it was a few days she was on it. She said, Lisa, I haven't had a cramp since I got on that potassium product. So,
wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I've told people on the line before, and I probably told you, Lisa, that we didn't think of doing a potassium product because the FDA had this ruling that you could not have a potassium supplement that had more than 99 milligrams per dose. And with the potassium RDA being 4,700 milligrams, I mean, what's that? That's like dozens and dozens and dozens of 99 milligram doses. So there just weren't that many potassium supplements. And finally, I clicked, when we had people who said, well, I'm not 100% with the ReMag. We tell people to make potassium bras. And then with all the people eating keto and not eating carbohydrates and not getting their potassium from their vegetables, what I did, and I don't know if people understand the brilliance of this, but you think of a dose as being a teaspoon. That's what we have in a ReMag and Remite and Recalcia. So instead, I got the chemist to concentrate the potassium down so that 99 milligrams equals 1/4 teaspoon, and that we made a dose. So it's all about the labeling. And then that meant that people could take a whole teaspoon, and that would be 400 milligrams, or, minus the 4. And our potassium, as many customers have attested, is twice as powerful as any other potassium supplement. So it's like you're getting 800 milligrams in in 1 teaspoon. And that's what, I just take the 1 teaspoon now. Some people are taking 2 teaspoons. How many teaspoons do you guys take?
I'm doing 1 teaspoon. Christy's doing a half a teaspoon. And that seems to have solved everything.
Right. Yeah. And I think Jenny's doing 2, and I'm back to 1 now. So it is wonderful. And, every week now, I guess we should talk about pico potassium. So I'm glad you brought it up again, so that we could remind people that you may still be missing something if you still have some of what we used to think were just magnesium deficiency symptoms.
And I think a lot of people, and I know myself, because when we moved to Panama, bananas like to grow on trees out there, right? So they're everywhere. And they're like a nickel a banana. So, every day we would just put a banana in our yogurt or whatnot. So I thought, oh, that would be enough. And it was not enough. I would be doing yoga thinking that I couldn't even, I had to get I needed a chair or something to do a move because I was in so much pain from the muscle cramping or the muscle tightness. So
yeah, that's amazing, Lisa. I just looked up the amount of potassium in a banana is 422 milligrams. So and maybe you're only absorbing about half of that. So again, the stabilized ion of the mineral potassium is what makes it so highly absorbed and so effective. It blows me away. It really does.
Yeah. And it brings me to a question, and I don't know if you have other callers, and I'm going to be here, so I'm happy to call in each week and just ask a new question. I could do that.
You will do that. Very good.
I will do that anyway. But Ginny, if you've got a lot of callers waiting, I won't ask this next question. I'll wait for another week.
Let her know, Ginny. Ginny's checking the line. She's unmuting herself.
I do have another call, but go ahead and ask this one, and then we've got plenty of time. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because your strength, you talked about, the strength and how you're able to compose a lot into a small dose.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings me to the zinc. And I know how, everybody keeps talking about zinc, but there's also like you're not supposed to take too much as well. And then there's the combination of the importance of copper with zinc and how zinc can actually diminish your copper. And I was just curious is there a way to, I was just curious about your take on that, because you're talking about copper today as well, and then the copper with the zinc and how it could cause a copper deficiency. And what were your thoughts on that? And are there things we should be watching for?
It's all taken care of with the ReMite, because I have copper in the ReMite. So with the copper zinc ratio, you need like 10 times the zinc as copper. So if people are taking their ReMite, a teaspoon and a half, they are balancing their zinc. And the extra zinc is very important right now, just for the whole antiviral business and to protect people. So that's
No, go ahead.
No, that's the answer. If you're taking your ReMite, you're okay.
So are you saying, though, the ratio of zinc, so you should be taking 1.5 teaspoons of mite to a 1/4 teaspoon of zinc?
Yeah, or even a 1/2 teaspoon. When zinc and copper go out of balance is when, some doctors go all gung-ho on zinc and tell you to take like 100 milligrams a day. That's going to get you in trouble. All we're doing with our 1/4 teaspoon is 10 or 20 milligrams of zinc. It's not going to cause any problems.
Okay, great. Good to know.
Yep. And good question. I do write about that in which book? Probably Total Body Immunity, where I discuss zinc, and I talk about the whole zinc copper relationship.
Awesome. Well, again, I'm so grateful for your products. I'm so grateful to you and to the company and everything that you do. These calls are priceless. You should have thousands of people calling in, and I try to tell people about it all the time. It's really a gift to be able to call in and get this kind of information on the spot. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. See you soon.
Yay!
Okay.
Bye, Christy. Bye. Okay, girls.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that's great. All right, let's keep going on with our calls, Carolyn. That's really fun. We'll go to area code 203. 203, you're on the line with Dr. Dean. If you could hit *6 on your phone and come on in and give us your name. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. It's Linda, and of Linda and Barb. And
Hey, Linda.
right now we're celebrating our granddaughter's 4th birthday. So that's what Barb's doing right now. But we had a couple critical questions for you guys. We're always grateful that you take phone calls for sure. I thought you were opening presents. All right. So Barb wants to talk. Go ahead.
This is more important.
Okay.
Hi. That's so
Hi,
nice
Barb.
of you to be on. I was hoping that you would be there, and we have to go to a birthday party because it's my granddaughter's 4th birthday. But this is most important that we talk to you about Buddy.
Okay.
So Buddy, you remember Buddy? He's our
Yeah,
20-year-old guy.
Yep.
So he doesn't have a stuffed up nose anymore. Now it's like running. So he's on. They put him on antibiotic 3 times, and I didn't finish up the first 2, and then the 3rd one, I'm just going to finish it. It's got a couple more days, but azithromycin. So a friend of mine who's a cat rescuer, she puts colloidal silver straight up on her cat's food because it has a dripping eye or something. I don't know. But so she told me to put your silver, straight. So I've been doing on Buddy's food, just 0.4. I don't know really what to give him because he's only like a little bit, 6 pounds maybe. He's just all bones. And so that's what, so I just felt better calling you and getting your blessing on how much to give him. It seems to not be doing anything. I don't know, one way or the other.
Let's get Ginny in here, what she would do with their cat. Lady Gaga is their cat's name.
No. Beyonce is the cat's name. And
where did I get that? Oh, Gaga's the dog.
Gaga's the dog.
Oh my God. But Ginny, you told me to dilute it last time. In lots of water. So,
well, no. I would have said you can add the Pico Silver to the water, and they can just drink it as a matter of course. But I'm not talking about as a treatment. You don't need to dilute Pico Silver.
And for treatments, yeah, I don't know about sinuses with cats. That's why I'm pulling Ginny in, but. We've seen people for eye infections in dogs and cats just drip the Pico Silver straight into the eye. And what I would do is just sort of squirt Pico Silver up their nose if you could, or near their nose until they fight you. But, because you want to get it directly in. And Ginny's right. You don't want to dilute it if you're trying to avoid antibiotics, because now, you're creating a whole thing with yeast in the cat. Right.
And the microbiome,
Now, Ginny, are we using Flora Revive on pets yet?
Yep. I was going to say the other thing you can do is you can break open Flora Revive if you have it and dash a little on their food, and and you can also just put that Pico Silver at the end of their nose. I have a cat, let me just say, she just had to have 9 teeth pulled, and she refused pain medication after it was over. Cats are on their own program, man. I'm telling you, they're hard to figure out. So if you can put the Pico Silver directly on their food, and it's not going to change the nature of their food, or they're really not going to detect it. So that should be okay. But if I were you, I would get a cotton ball. I would just dab it. If you're concerned about allergies and breathing and nasal issues, I would just dab it on the end of their nose, because it will get absorbed topically and it will just go into that area. And the main thing you want to do is just get it into their bloodstream so that it can start to create those stem cells. Silver will actually disassociate the cells so that stem cells can be freed up, and it will allow them to start to heal. So that's what I would do.
Okay, so I'll get an eyedropper and just drop some in his nose.
Yeah.
That's all. Both nostrils. That's all.
Yeah.
And then I'll also put a little bit of silver. So 0.4. I didn't know if I was really hurting him doing 0.4 on his food. I don't know what the ratio is. I don't know if I could hurt him. I just didn't want to hurt him.
I don't know what 0.4 is, but you can't really overdose on silver. It's natural in the environment. It's already in water and food, just in very low doses. So, we don't test for it or look for it. It's not on dietary labels. So you're not going to see that as a regular kind of thing, but it is just a natural product. So it can't hurt. I don't know what you mean by 0.4.
Well, it's a milliliter.
0.4 milliliters. So
yeah.
You're used to probably like a quarter teaspoon or a half teaspoon. What do you recommend?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I like drops. I like drops for pets, not teaspoons. Okay. So I get that eyedropper, and like you said, maybe 10 drops on their food, and then a couple in his little nose, and he'll be much better.
Oh, I could do that. And then Linda's got a question for you. Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to run back in with the birthday party. Yep. Thank you so much.
Okay, Barb. Bye, Barb. Yeah.
So for me, all of a sudden my eyes are super dry, and I didn't know. I picked up some eye drops, but I didn't know if any of this stuff would be. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's just dryness, but that's all I know. So I know I've heard you say putting silver directly in your eye, but I didn't know if that was recommended for this.
Well, I mean, is it spring there? Do you think it's like an allergy dryness?
It might be. It might be that we have the AC on. We're new to Atlanta. This is only our second spring. So it could be that. It could be something else. So, yeah.
Right.
So I'm not sure.
I mean, you can put a couple drops of pico silver in. There is a homeopathic company called Similazin.
Okay.
Similasin. I use their
I think that's the one I got. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what I just got today.
Okay. But then, look around, try to ascertain if it's in an AC environment or is it outside. Just do your,
research. Yeah.
research on
Yeah.
that. And
Cool.
usually if people are saturated with their minerals, the allergies don't bother them as much. If you have the RnA ReSet Drops, you can put 1 drop in an eye cup and half fill that with saline and rinse your eyes, but only do it, maybe once every couple of days, and you can improve the whole circulation around your eyes. So there's several things you can do, but you're right. If you're in a new environment, something new's happening, don't get freaked out. Just research it and come up with a solution.
Yeah. By the way, your protein powder tastes good, and I love that it's only 80 calories per serving because most of these things have a million calories because they're treated as meal replacement, and all I'm looking to do is to just add protein to my regular cereal. So it tastes great. So, good job on that.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know how hard that was to create, but and my mother is doing so much better. It's a miracle. She's I don't know when I last talked to you, but I put her in the hospital, came out, and it was all from fluids, not enough fluids in her system. She was dehydrated, and none of the doctors picked it up. None of the doctors picked it up until her blood pressure went through the floor. And normally she has borderline high blood pressure. So we took her to the hospital. All they did is put fluids on her and some other iron supplement kind of thing. And she's done. So I'm just saying this online because it was very hard to diagnose apparently. And I almost lost her. So she's a miracle woman as far as I can tell. So
you're
she's
saying
eating and drinking.
Yeah, from dehydration. Yeah, that's what you really have to watch that with. Older people don't like going to the bathroom, so they don't drink.
Yes.
That's it. You got to put the 2 liters of water there and make sure it's finished by the end of the day.
Yes. Yes, I've tried that one. My mother is very smart and very brilliant, but I don't know. She dragged her heels on this one. It's probably where I got it from. But yeah, and it had just gotten too far. Like just drinking more just wasn't going to cut it. So, and you were talking about potassium. That potassium is definitely something you have to monitor pretty closely. So, yeah.
Well,
anyway,
good for you.
Well, thank you so much.
Good for you, Linda. You're a good daughter, and we, all us mothers appreciate that.
Yeah, I was just. She kept yelling at me, don't annoy my doctors. They're the only ones in town. And I said, yes, but I'd rather you be alive. And so, you just have to speak up, for what you need.
Right.
And it works.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody.
Okay. Thanks, Linda. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Caring for the elderly, is something that we could talk about forever because I know that people really want to help their parents, and we've all gone through with the aging parents, and they are definitely challenging to keep that hydration up. But one thing you can do is make their water bottles up in advance. You feel free to, that's one thing people always ask is if I mix up my minerals, will they keep like they're going to spoil? And they just don't spoil. So you can mix up a couple days of water and put it in their water bottles and stuff like that, so they can stay on top of that hydration. The more minerals they get, the less they pee, right, Carolyn?
Yes, that's right. There's a nice balance there. And I didn't get to say that to Linda, that the water should have sea salt and the remag, remite, etc. in it. And if that's yucky to a person, then you add the vitamin C reset powder, and that will really help the taste. It's the taste solution.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, a couple comments coming in from our regular listeners, and of course our most lovely and delightful Nancy M. Earlier to your comment, Carolyn said eating saturated fat, grass-fed tallow, coconut oils will strengthen cell membranes and aid them to be more resistant to EMF. And thank you for that, Nancy. And then, of course, a lot of people know that the omegas and definitely are in inner mitochondrial cell membranes too. So be sure to put omegas on your list, Nancy, because they are very important. Sally asked, can I put zinc in the Restructure protein smoothie? And of course, we know the answer to that is absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, good idea. That'll work.
Yeah, you can put anything in Restructure. That stuff is so great. Okay.
When's our chocolate Restructure coming?
Did you just say chocolate Restructure, Carolyn? Did we talk about that on the radio yet? I thought we weren't going to do that anymore.
Oh.
Well, anyway, our chocolate Restructure, now that Dr. Dean let it out of the bag, literally will be about 3 or 4 weeks, I think, hopefully by the end of June. Okay. It's super delish, everybody. Sweet. We're going to have vanilla and chocolate. Yes. Thank you. Another yay. Thank you, Dr. Dean. That's going to be so much fun. I just can't even hardly wait to get it. And I'm going to get Restructure, and then I'm going to put my peanut butter in there and create a peanut butter Reese's smoothie cup Restructure shake. And it's going to be so good.
Wonderful.
Okay. E-Music said earlier in our conversation, I used to live near a radio tower. Every woman around it got cancer and I moved away. Good for you, sweetheart. Wow. Jeez, that's tough. Everybody, I want chocolate. Everybody's freaking out now. That's hilarious.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're not. I mean, with our debacle with Remag lotion, Ginny and I made a pact to never premiere a product before we had it in hand.
Oh, well, Carolyn broke her word. That's all right. Yeah. Patrick said he adds a teaspoon of Pipico Silver on his dog's food, on his ground beef, and he mashes it in. Yes, very good. And a half capsule of Flora Revive. Yep. That's one happy puppy right there. That's what I have to say. That's what I have to say. Yeah. My dogs and cat get it all. Yeah, they get everything. They have no mercy. Okay, we've got another phone call at area code 352. Asking you to unmute your phone using *6 and come on into the conversation with Dr. Dean. Area code 352. Hello.
Hi, this is Rhea in Florida, and I have a quick question. We tonight, well, I've been having really bad stomach aches. I have some kind of issue with my stomach still. But people were talking about the cramping and using potassium. And I was wondering, I thought, gee, the stomach thing feels like it might, like cramping. What if I use potassium? If I take some extra potassium, would that work for the stomach cramps?
I mean, we can't guarantee, but it's an experiment that you could easily do. Do you have the Pico potassium?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm taking it. I take a teaspoon every day in my water.
Mm-hmm. So you could increase it, but I mean, are you having constipation or diarrhea or any of those other symptoms, gas, bloating?
I have a lot of bloating, and I just have really bad digestive problems. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow, to a holistic to see about SIBO and, just trying that diet. And and I did have really bad diarrhea tonight. I don't know why all of a sudden just, but I thought I would just give that potassium and try. The cramps come and go. Right at this moment, it's disappeared. But all evening I've had terrible cramping in my stomach.
Well,
So,
I mean, yeah, we can't really go into, medical stuff so much, but what you can do is when you see your doctor and get, the tests and whatever, let us know what they come up with, and then we can support you, because if it's IBS, that's related to yeast overgrowth. And when they look at SIBO, they just look at bacteria, and they might want to give you an antibiotic that can make yeast worse. So get some insight from the testing, and let us know, and we'll see if we can help you. Have you tried our Flora Revive and Pico Silver?
Well, on the SIBO diet, inulin is a big no-no. And I looked on the bottle that I have of Flora Revive, and there's, I think, 200. There's a goodly amount of inulin in there. So I have not been taking that product. I've been trying to abide by the SIBO diet for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I did the breath test, and I'm going to get the results tomorrow.
So has the SIBO diet helped?
Oh, I don't think it really has.
Right.
I thought in the beginning I was feeling better, but now, oh my goodness, I just have really.
Right. Well, Ginny, have we had anybody say they've had problems with Flora Revive, kind of vis-a-vis the inulin content?
Well, no, one thing Flora Revive seems to really do is defy a lot of concerns that people have, because there is the inulin in it and other things, but it seems to be very beneficial. One thing that you can do, Rhea, do you have it?
I have a few left from when I was taking it regularly, but I haven't taken it for a couple of months.
Did it bother you when you were taking it before?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, you've already got the experience of taking it and not really having a problem. I know that they, sometimes when you get into different diets, they identify different things. But, one thing that happened for me, like for an example, I've been on like blood type diets and things, and they told me soy was 100% thumbs up for me, and it actually turned out to be a disaster. So you have to just kind of go with what your body's saying. One thing I will say is that Pico Zinc is incredible for digestion. If you have zinc,
really,
it's incredible for digestion.
How much can I take every day? Because I take a half a teaspoon in my water.
Okay.
And then I don't drink.
Okay. So if you've already got it. Yeah, that should be good. I wouldn't take more than that for digestion. If you've already got that going on and you've got all the other products and you're taking the potassium and zinc and stuff, that's what I do when I get cramped up, which does happen from me. It's all stress related.
Yeah, I think it is. Okay, so I can take another half teaspoon of zinc without any problem?
No, you just stay with the half teaspoon. But think about what's going on. You're trying everything, you're doing everything. You're agreeing that stress could be a problem. So, maybe we should look at the conflict. What in your life are you having trouble digesting? What do you want to spit out or flush out of your system? And that, that might give you some insight. And it's a type of thing where, especially in our customers, you've got all the right things, you're taking all the right things, you have all the right information, but it's still an up and down of something is wrong. And that's what, I'm saying it's a conflict. And the conflict is your physical body is trying to kind of fix the problem, but it ends up kind of focusing symptoms. And we think that's the disease, whereas the body's trying to fix the conflict. And what we do, I mean, all of us have talked to our total biology friend, Dr. David Holt, to find out.
I talked to. Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, you've done that too. Yeah. And
I have.
and
well, my problem is my family, my kids. Just being alone and not having family around, and being ignored by my children. That's the main.
Uh-huh.
And there's nothing I can do about it. So.
Right. So then and in quarantine and all the crazy, but in Florida, you should be able to go to, an orphanage or, a school or somewhere and adopt some, adopt children for a day. Yeah. Go somewhere where you can start hugging people.
Yeah, I need to do that. Yeah,
you have to.
You're right.
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you're missing that human touch. So you've identified the problem. So now the solution is just go and do some volunteer work in a hospital, for Pete's sakes, and hug those poor children who are getting cancer treatment.
Yeah. Okay. That's a definite. Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. You'll help them as much as they help you.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. I know it's time.
Oh yeah, it is. And I just wish I was there to give you a big hug, Rhea, because I hear what you're saying. I really hear what you're saying.
You.
Okay.
The thought is there. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, dear.
Thanks for taking my call.
Okay, Rhea, anytime. Bye-bye now.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, very good. Yes, I think that's the perfect. Hugs are the best medicine. Hugs are better than drugs. Not our products, but they're definitely better than drugs.
Oh my gosh, yes. When Christy and Lisa arrived yesterday, we just couldn't stop hugging. It was so wonderful. It was just so perfect.
Oh, that's so precious.
Yeah.
Another great show, Carolyn. Thank you so much. And I know all of our callers appreciate it, and everybody does. Now people are super hype about Remag lotion getting a discount and trying it out. And they're really hype about Restructure chocolate. And we've got all kinds of great things going on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're very fortunate. Very fortunate. And thank you, everybody. We're down to the wire here. One more minute. Ginny has 1 minute to expound on the wonderfulness of everything.
Yes. Well, here's a wonderful update for you. I went through while we've been on, and I have personally edited every single book entry, taken out all the fluff and straightened everything out. So you are complete.
Wonderful. So yes, at our drcarolyndeanlive.com under books, there's all the updated free ebooks. So if you look at the date below, you'll see that it's whatever, May 2021. So you want that update. And we do update the version numbers as well. If you look on the book you have, check the version and make sure you're getting an updated version. Because, we came out with so many products the last year and a half, I had to add them all into the books.
And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Great show. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Ginny and Bob, and everybody who makes this world special.
Oh, we'll be back next week, everybody. Look forward to talking to you then.
You've been listening to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show. For questions about today's broadcast, email Dr. Dean at questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com. That's questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.